Alrighty, guys. So here we have it's actually a no-name solar charge controller, and no battery should go without this. And I'll tell you why. It's just gonna, if you just attach whatever it is to your battery and run it, that battery, lead acid or lithium, whatever it is gonna run down, run down, run down. Your lead acid will have a severely shortened lifespan if you just run it down flat. It never really charges correctly afterwards. Your lithium batteries have a battery management system in. Your bigger ones do, and if they drop below, like on this one, which is the gelato, it's going to drop below 10 volts, it will switch off. And that won't allow any more power out of it. Now, I've heard a whole lot of different stories. I don't know which one to believe. And if you, I don't know. That if you've gone into that battery management system, you somehow have to jumpstart the battery because your chargers don't see voltage and the BMS is kicked in and all sorts of stories that you must have this charger and that charger and blah blah blah. And either way, it's better to limit your low voltage cutoff on your battery. So even though you don't have solar panels, get a solar charge controller because that will extend your battery's lifespan. And if you have a solar charge controller, one that you can adjust the parameters on, not a fixed one that you can adjust, the battery is never going to go into BMS because your charge controller is going to prevent that. So this is not just for solar coming in to control that and regulate that voltage. It is also to protect your battery. So that's why I've got this. Just on your chargers, you get your PWM and MPPT. Now, MPPT is a much more efficient form of charging. They're not that much more expensive. They used to be, they are not. So get yourself an MPPT, one that you can adjust parameters. Now, I took a chance on this one because the last one I got, man, I could not understand those instructions at all. And interface was terrible. It was just really, really difficult to set up. No idea what's going on there. And I thought, let's take a chance on this. So I actually ordered this from Robo Factory. I've never heard of them before. But I had their number saved on my phone. So yeah, it was like, well, all right. So obviously I have dealt with them somewhere along the line. They've got some really good stuff and their prices are really good. So you get this. Now, this one is not the model with Bluetooth, but you don't really need it because I really think this is something that you're just going to put in there and forget about it. I do have an other use for it that is on-off switch, but that I'm going to show you. So let's go through the settings. The manual is actually super easy to go through. Just the one thing I would do is that it tells you each of the menus and what they are for. I would write down the values that you want in there because when you go into menu, it very quickly reverts back. It also has a battery on board, so it does save you see, when you're trying to now figure out what is that and you're going back and reading. So go through the whole thing first. And don't forget, I'll put a link in the description. I'm not sponsored by these guys. I was just really happy with the service and I'm really happy with the product. And I think it's great, just easy to use interface and takes a bit of tinkering and you set. So first thing to know is always connect your battery first, then your panel, then your load. In this case, we don't have a panel, so it's battery, then load. When you're disconnecting, I'm talking physically disconnect your load, then your panel and your battery last. So that is the order, otherwise you're going to damage the controller. So let's go through the menus and we'll see what they are all about. So first off, when we look in the manual, number 1 says modify the float voltage. Now, a lithium battery does not need, like a lead acid battery, needs a float voltage, usually about 13.8, just to keep it going. Topped up and all that. That's why lead acid batteries stored on trickle charge they last longer, and they really do. I mean, a lead acid battery is stored for maybe a decade on a very light trickle charge. Worked fine and still works fine. So lithium does not actually like to be stored for long term. I'm talking 3 to 6 months or no use for 3 to 6 months. It actually prefers to be on half your charge. So it doesn't like a big float voltage. So for the lithium, 13.4 is about right. You can always chat MPPT or Perplexity or what do these mean, but then write down the value. And then it says modify the discharge recovery voltage. The discharge recovery voltage is once you've gone below, say, the battery BMS, which we'll get to on the next setting. Once it has cut off the power, the load, because the battery is too flat, what voltage do you want to set it at that this thing can safely provide a load again? Because you don't want to start it on, it's 11 volts, and now you're starting to pull current, or your solar's kicking in, the sun has come up, and you don't want to at 11 volts or 13 or 10.7 or 10.8 for it to start putting a load out. It's going to be undervolting, right? So that is the voltage at which this thing will allow a load to come off it once it has gone into recovery. In other words, it's cut off the load, which is the low cutoff or discharge cutoff. So the third menu item is your discharge cutoff voltage. And this is where the magic happens, because your lithium batteries, like this one advertises 5,000 cycles. Sometimes it's going to last more, sometimes it's going to last less. But they don't like to be fully discharged. They don't like it. They don't last as long. So if you want to double the amount of cycles you're going to get out of this battery, or go up to close to double, get the battery to last longer, you want to set your discharge or your low cutoff voltage to a minimum of 11 volts. Its default is 10.7, but I prefer it to be at 11, even 11.2. I'd rather have less of the amount of a cycle and have my battery last longer than use it 100% of its capacity that don't like it. And even your Samsung phone will agree that if you want to put your battery saver on, it's only going to charge and discharge to like 85% down. It doesn't like full charge and full discharge. Then the next one is your type of battery, which battery 01 is lithium. Then you've got your output mode, your load output mode. That's quite interesting. And then battery voltage type, and then display. So let's run through them quickly. To get into your settings, you're going to press 1. 1 is a flow charge, which I'm going to leave at 13.8. Because that's kind of what, in fact, it can go down. You see, that's how it goes out. It being a lithium 13.4. Then you press that again, and we're getting to the discharge recovery, which is 12.6. I'm quite happy with 12.6. And then I've set my low cutoff to 11. And I can even go up to 11.2, and the battery is just going to last longer. If you're going to go lower than that, then add another battery to it. So now you see it's saving. So this is the lithium battery. And then this is the output mode. Now you can put this thing on timer that it's going to switch off or switch on at night. Sorry, bumped the camera there. Or, I would put it on a relay that, you only, whatever. I wouldn't even do that. I'm going to put it on the manual, which is, 6. Where were we? Yep. And 6 is your battery type. We're going to get back to that. And then 7 is your display. So the rest of them are pretty useless. It's timer and everything. I'm just going to leave it on total output that has come through the charge controller in kilowatt hours. That's quite nice to see how your panels and everything are doing, if that makes sense. But those first three values are the most important. Your float is low, that's your recovery, and that's your cutoff. That saves your battery. And then that's your lithium, it stays the same. This output, you can change it to auto and then timer, but I just prefer it on out, which leaves it on manual, right? Because there it says output, and if I press that button, I've got the wrong setting. It says out. Oh, that's permanently out. That is on manual. Let's see. Yeah, that's how I like it. Now I'm going to switch a light on, just to show the draw that your caravan is using. And this is mounted right at the door, so when I'm leaving for the day, I can just hit that, and then I know that there's going to be no draw on that battery except for this controller, because that's connected directly to the battery. So whatever's being charged, I'm out. I don't need 12 volts anywhere. I can come back, and then when I get back, I can just switch it on again. So that really, for me, is pretty much a nice functionality. I've got a different charge controller that I use in the back of the truck that just runs lights and a fan. So actually, during winter, when it's dark in the morning, I leave the light switched on, the fan switched off. And when I open up and I want the light on, I just hit that and the light comes on. And when I'm finished, I just hit that and it comes off. I don't need to be flipping switches or anything. That's right at the door, and that's all my control. This is obviously your display for that's your voltage output. That's what's coming out. That's how many amps are coming in from your solar panels and your total power produced. So you can set this to a timer. I don't really see a use for it, but you can do it. And that pretty much sums us up. So it's a pretty easy menu to get through. And you're obviously going to store the instructions with all their thingies in, so you don't forget that somewhere in your caravan with all the other instructions. And yeah, I just found this, it wasn't very expensive, 500 odd with delivery. And so I'm very happy with it. So yeah, guys, I hope this video has helped, and I'll put a link to the product in the description. Thank you for watching.